Good evening, hello. Welcome to this foundations flow. So this class is full of foundational postures, which generally is the poses that are most recognizable as yoga poses. They're really good for learning alignment and that mind-body connection. So hopefully they'll all feel familiar to you if you've done yoga before. And if you've not, they're a great place to start. And there'll be options to make things harder if your practice is a little bit more advanced. If you've got short hamstrings, a block might be helpful, but as always, don't worry if you don't got one. Doesn't mean you can't take part. So come to a nice comfortable cross-legged seat. Allow yourself to sit onto a cushion if you need to, so that you can find a lift in your lower back, a lift through your chest. And then soften your shoulders away from your ears, close your eyes, soften your face, and just let yourself settle. Allow your body to become still, your breath to become your focus, and for everything just to start to feel a little looser, a little calmer, a little softer. Bit at a time, allow your breath to grow in both strength and depth. And feel that space within your body. With each exhale, feel the softness, feel the calm as you ease into it. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Great, this time as you inhale, circle your arms wide and reach them to the sky, palms face forwards. And then as you exhale, let those hands come to rest onto the mat in front of you. Let your chin just drop slightly towards your chest so the neck stays long in line with the back of the spine. And keep thinking of drawing that belly up and out of the pelvis. So you're focusing on that lower back area, lengthening it. And using the exhale to allow the weight to tip a little forwards as you fold over the legs. A couple more, breathing in, breathing out. Maybe giving your feet a little press into the mat for your last inhale. And then exhale, walk your hands back in until you're sat nice and tall. So from here, inhale, circle your arms wide, reach them all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, right hand comes to the floor next to you. Lean a little out towards that hand. Left fingertips up and over as you take your gaze under the left shoulder. Maybe if you've got a little bit more to give, you can soften that right elbow and increase that side bend, but keep your left sit bone down on the floor and keep rolling the arm back. So don't turn this into a fold, keep opening. Inhale as you hold here. And then exhale, place that hand onto the mat behind you. Your right hand comes to your left knee, taking a twist to look over your left shoulder. And keep your torso as upright as you can. So rib cage stays right on top of your hips. Try not to lean back too much. Use the breath in to lengthen, find space to grow taller. And the exhale to maybe pull a little more on the knee if you've got the ability to find a bit of a deeper twist. And then all the way back to the center, use the inhale, send the arms back to the sky. Find that side body length. And then exhale, left hand to the floor next to you. Fingertips up and over, gaze under the armpit, and keep that right sit bone down. Option to soften the elbow, to take it further, roll the shoulder back and take the gaze underneath. Breathe into that right side. Use the inhale to find more length, more stretch. And then the exhale, the hand comes behind you. The left hand spins across to hold the knee as you look over your right shoulder. Lengthening out through your spine, breathing in. Narrowing at your waist, narrowing the belly in to help you twist. One more, breathe in. And then breathe out. Come all the way back to the center. Either turn your legs around or see if you can tuck your feet close to your bum, roll over your knees and bring yourself into tabletop. All fours. Hips on top of knees, shoulders on top of wrists, belly drawing up towards your spine to activate your core and slightly neutralize your spine. With an inhale, the ribs dip down to the mat. Lift the chest, look forward, shoulder blades pinch towards each other. Breathing out to round your spine. Chin to the chest, hollow out the belly and tuck the tailbone. Breathing in, drop the ribs back to the mat, lift the chest looking upwards. Breathing out to press your spine to the sky as you hollow out the front of the body. Good, again to breathe in and to breathe out. Great, take one more, a nice deep scoop of the belly, a big lift of the chest, squeeze your lower back muscles. And then exhale to dome the back as you tuck the chin under. Bring yourself back to a neutral spine, keeping your gaze down towards the mat between your hands. Going to send your right leg out behind you, trying to get the leg parallel to the mat and the left arm to reach forwards, trying to lift it alongside the ear. Use the inhale to keep growing longer between fingertips and tippy toes. And then exhale, knee to elbow to tap under the body. Maybe make it knee and nose if you want to make it harder. Inhale, extend. Exhale to draw the limbs underneath. Again, breathing in and breathing out, rounded spine. Good, last one, breathe in, extend those limbs, keep them nice and long, and now place your left hand back down onto the floor, kick your left foot just slightly off the mat to one side, turn your pelvis to face the right, turn your chest to face the right as your right arm lifts to the sky. Into this supported side plank variation, lift that leg as high as you can, feel the effort in your right glutes, and send your gaze to the top fingertips if the balance is here for you. Holding it here, inhale, and then exhale. Let the hand and the knee come back to the mat as you come back towards your tabletop. Second side, the left leg is going to reach out again, keeping it as high away from the mat as you can. Right arm goes forwards alongside the ear. Keep the gaze down. Breathe in, hold. Breathing out, knee and elbow or knee and nose to tap. Inhale, extend, lift the belly away from the mat. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, reaching it back out. Final rounding as you tap the limbs underneath. Good. Inhale, reach them all the way back out. Grow as long as you can between those fingers and those toes. And then place the right hand down on the mat. Kick the foot off to one side just to help with your balance. Turn the pelvis open to the left, turn the chest, and then reach through those top left fingertips. Squeeze those left glutes. Find that strength in your hips, in your legs to keep that leg lifted. Not an easy shape. Breathe in. And then breathing out. Hands down to the mat. Knees come back to the mat as you come back towards tabletop. From here, take a little step backwards with the knees to make yourself a little longer on the mat. Tuck the toes, make sure your feet are hip distance apart, and then lift your hips towards the sky as you come into downward facing dog, this nice upside down V shape. The sit bones are lifting to the sky, the knees to stay a little bent for the majority of everyone. Keep those heels pushing towards the floor, but not at the expense of rounding your spine. You want to keep your sit bones lifted, hollowing out your belly, and press into the hands to send your body weight back towards your legs. Think of the crown of the head rising away from the mat. Take your last inhale here. And then on the exhale, walking the hands to the back of the mat to come to meet your feet. Make sure your heels come down before you release. Feet are still hip distance apart. Take a soft bend in the knees as you take a ragdoll fold. So belly and thighs are connected. Arms can dangle freely or you can cross them, thinking of the elbows and the head pulling down towards the floor. Option to take a soft sway if you wish. And just allow the weight to tip a little bit further forwards towards the toes to allow you to keep lifting your hips to the sky. So even though the upper body torso is quite passive, quite floppy here, the legs are really working. You're throwing those hips high to the sky, finding that length in the back of the legs. And then allow yourself to come back to stillness. Your fingertips to come to rest onto the floor, or onto a block if you have a block. You can keep those bent knees if you need to. Right hand stays down, you can do palm flat, you can do fingertips, you can do block. With an inhale, left arm to go to the sky as you turn your chest. Let your right knee bend very generously and you can work your left leg towards straight. It might straighten out if you've got quite long hamstrings. Press that right hand down to help your chest twist. Keep pushing your right sit bone slightly backwards to keep the pelvis neutral. Inhale. And then exhale, let that hand come back to the floor as you switch sides, left hand down. Inhale, right arm to the sky. Take the gaze with it. Left knee bends, right leg work towards straight, and left sit bone pushes a little bit backwards. Opening the body, gazing up. And then exhale, hand comes back to the floor. From here, we're going to walk forwards into plank. So arms, hands are coming to the very top of the mat. Bring your shoulders on top of your wrists. Hollow out your belly, press away through your heels, and keep your tailbone lightly tucked so your belly feels like it's hollowing out. Take a nice deep breath in. We're then going to see if we can draw our right knee to see if we can tap our right elbow. Just get as close to it as you can if you can't touch. Extending it back. Option to drop the knees for a moment. And then left knee. See if you can bring it to tap your left elbow. Holding, breathe in. And then breathing out. Drop both knees to the floor. Untuck the toes. Sit your bum to your heels as you let your forehead rest to the floor and into child's pose. A nice little rest for the body, but also opening into the hips and the side body. Let your palms come to face one another, or come to touch, should I say. And then bending your elbows, sending your hands towards the back of your head or towards your shoulder blades, and giving your elbows a gentle press against the floor to feel that stretch into the upper arms, into the upper body. Inflating the lungs, breathe in. Softening as you breathe out. Great, one more, breathe in. And then release the hands back to the mat. Press your way up towards tabletop. And then find your way straight back into down dog, hips to the sky. From there, the gaze is going to come forwards to the top of the mat, looking beyond your fingertips. And then little steps at a time, walking your feet into the top of the mat. You can keep those knees bent, but think of compression. So thighs going close to your belly. Hold your core muscles in tightly until you find your way at the top of the mat. From here, fingertips to come to your shins. Inhale, halfway rise. So a nice tabletop shape through your spine. Come higher if you need to achieve a flat back. Shoulder blades together, chest broad. Exhale, fold back over. We're going to move back into our twists with an option to take a little bind. You'll see where we're going. So right hand down onto the floor. Inhale, left arm to the sky, just as we did a moment ago. The right knee bends, left leg works towards straight. You can stay here, or the option is to take the arm in the sky and reach towards your right outer hip. The hand on the floor then goes between the legs to see if you can find your fingertips behind your back. You can use a strap to bridge the gap if you're not quite there, or something that acts as a strap, maybe a spare t-shirt or something. And if it's not quite there for you, just stay in the extended version. Releasing, letting your fingertips come back to the floor, and then let's go to the other side. Left fingertips down. Inhale, right arm to the sky. Left knee bends. Option, the arm in the sky. Drape it over the lower back. The hand on the floor goes between the legs. And see if it can find your fingertips. Take the gaze to the sky if you have the bind. Keep reaching if you're staying extended. Breathe in. And then breathing out. Undoing. Both hands back to the mat. Take those fingertips back to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Pull your chest away from your hips. Press your thighs backwards. And exhale to fold back over the legs. Belly to thighs. Head dangles freely. On the inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Take your arms up and overhead. Gaze up towards them. Keep the tailbone tucked. And as you exhale, release your arms alongside your body as you find yourself standing nice and tall. So from here, apologies, just going to readjust my mic. Bringing your feet together, standing towards the top of your mat. Think of your thighs squeezing inwards, tailbone slightly tucked so your glutes are having a bit of a squeeze as well. With an inhale, send both arms up to the sky. Keep your gaze forward, straight out in front of you for this one. As you exhale, right hands towards your leg, so just let it rest. Think of those fingertips sliding down your leg as you take a side bend, so left fingertips are reaching up and over. Just as when we're seated, try not to turn it into a fold. Don't look down and drop the shoulder. Roll the shoulder back and look up, even if that means not bending quite so far to one side. Inhale, take both arms back up to the sky. Keep that gaze forwards, and then left hand comes down for thigh as the right arm goes up and over. Let your hips push a little bit towards the right to find extra length there. Hips are pushed, squeezing those glutes. Inhale, both arms to the sky. And exhale to release your arms by your sides. Good. From here, we're going to work into a little bit of strength into the back body. So I want you to focus on your lower spine area. Think of all of the muscles that surround the spine there. Inhale, take your arms to the sky. This time, gaze up towards them. Keep the arms going directly upwards. Squeeze your bum, push your hips a little forward, and let your chest face the sky a little more. So you're really squeezing those muscles, finding a back bend here. Doesn't matter how little or how big it is, breathe in. And then breathing out as you straighten up very slowly, bend your knees and let your fingertips come back to the floor as we stretch out that lower back area that we just strengthened. Generous bend in the knees, body flops over the legs, let your head hang nice and heavy. Great, moving on, inhale, hands to your shins, chest forwards, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, feet step back into plank, option for supported plank with the knees down if you prefer. Breathe in, hollow out the belly. Breathing out, drop your knees into your supported plank. Keep your weight forwards towards your fingertips, keep your elbows close to your sides, and slowly with control lower your body all the way down to the mat. From there, inhale, float your chest, look forwards, float your hands. So again, you're using the muscles of your lower back to find lift here. And then put your hands back onto the floor. Roll via your knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips into the sky to find downward facing dog. Really opening your armpits wide, thinking of the chest moving back towards the legs. Keeping the sit bones lifting and keeping a soft bend in your knees will help them stay tall. Press into the hands, breathe in. Soften into the face, breathe out. And then inhale to look forwards beyond the fingertips. On the exhale, you can walk as we did before, or maybe take a little bunny hop. So hop your feet to the top of the mat, landing as lightly as you possibly can. Inhale, halfway rise. And then exhale to fold, hands down to the floor. Great. Inhale, coming all the way back up, nice straight line. Tailbone tucked, ribs holding in, reach the fingertips tall. And then exhale to bring those fingertips straight back down to the mat as we repeat that little sequence. Sun salute A. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders pull away from the ears. Exhale, hands go down, feet step back into plank. Take a breath in here. Exhale, dropping the knees. Keep the tailbone tucked so your core stays engaged as you slowly lower the body all the way to the floor. Inhale, floating the chest, floating the hands, look forward, shoulder blades squeeze together. And then exhale, rolling it back, toes tuck under, hips lift to the sky, and we come back into down dog. Breathing in, breathing out. Again to breathe in, and a final breath out. Great, lift the gaze, looking forward. Same options, you can either walk or you can jump your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway rise. And your exhale to fold, belly to thighs, soft knees, hands should touch the floor. Inhale to come all the way up to stand. Arms alongside the ears, palms come together above you. And then exhale, release your arms by your sides as you stand nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back, broadening through the chest, taking a nice deep breath in and a slow breath out. Great, moving on from here, taking the arms back to the sky as you breathe in. Using the breath out, soft knees, forward fold, belly to thighs, hands to mat. Inhale, chest pulls forwards. This time as you exhale, place the hands down and step straight back into down dog. So hips go to the sky, feet are hip distance apart, finding that long length from wrists to sit bones. And then with an inhale, the right leg is going to lift to the sky for a three-legged dog. Strong top leg to pull to the sky. On the exhale, place that foot just behind your right wrist. So not in between the hands, behind the right wrist. Your back foot is then going to angle out at about 10 o'clock and the heel wants to place down, so you can shorten the stance if you need to. As you rise up to stand, we're coming into warrior one. The pelvis stays pointing towards the front of the mat. The front knee bends on top of the front ankle, can't get my words out. And then inhale, the arms go to the sky as the gaze looks a little up as well. Really root down through that back heel. It's important that that stays down, and think of your left hip pulling forwards as your right hip moves a little back. Pelvis stays pointing to the top of the mat. Warrior one, breathing in, breathing out. Keep bending into that front knee. And then one more breath in. As you breathe out, bring your hands down in front of your chest. Shift your weight onto the front leg, so come onto the ball of the back foot. Keep your hands in front of your chest. See if you can lift that back leg as your chest reaches forwards into warrior three. So it's a big capital T shape. The chest is staying lifted, just like we use those lower back muscles for. So we're going forwards, not down, and press away through your back heel. You can probably feel this front leg working hard for it. Come back to it if you fall out, see if you can hold it a little bit longer. Breathe in. And then place your hands down onto the mat by your foot. Your back foot elegantly steps to the back of the mat, maybe not so elegantly. Left hand to stay down, lunge forwards, front knee on top of front ankle, and then inhale, right arm to the sky. Option to drop the back knee if you wish to make things a little softer here. Turn the entire chest to face upwards, rolling the chest open, thinking of narrowing in at your waist. Inhale. And then exhale. Both hands to the mat. Drop that back knee down if it wasn't already. We're then going to shift our weight back so the hips are on top of the back knee. The front toes are going to pull off of the mat, and I find it more comfortable to untuck my back toes. Hands are going to walk back underneath the shoulders. Options to put your hand onto blocks if this is feeling too intense. If you don't have them, just keep a more generous bend in the knee if the hamstring is struggling here. So half split, the toes pull up towards the shin, the sit bones stick out backwards, and the chest keeps pulling forwards. So trying to maintain a long flat spine, and give your heel a little press down into the mat. And don't tell me if you don't feel any difference when you do that. Take a deep breath in. Keep narrowing the space between belly and thigh as you breathe out. Last inhale. And then on the exhale, rock yourself back forwards, both hands to the top of the mat, and then stepping this right foot back to meet the left foot into your down dog once again. Inhale as you hold. And exhale. Good. With the left leg, breathe in and send the leg to the sky. Reach the toes tall. As you breathe out, you're going to place that foot just behind your left wrist. Easier said than done. Help it there if it didn't quite make it. Drop the back heel down. Let the toes point out slightly. Make sure your feet have a left and a right side still, just like they did in down dog. From there, rise up to stand. Make sure your hips are still pointing forwards and bend your front knee to on top of your front ankle. Root down through your rear heel. Inhale, send the arms to the sky. Think of the arms coming nice and close to your ears, palms to face one another. Tailbone tucks lightly under as your rib cage lifts away from your hips. Holding here, breathing in, breathing out. And then one last inhale. On the exhale, let your hands come down in front of your chest. The weight shifts into the front leg, the back heel lifts, and then just a little lift, maybe a tiny little hop if you need it to help that back leg lift. Hold the belly in firm, lift and lengthen out through the chest and press away through that back heel. Warrior three. The whole body stays facing down. This right hip point points towards the mat, not out towards the right. See if you can keep holding here for your last breath. And then breathing out. Hands are going to come down by your foot. The back leg is going to place at the back of the mat. Lunge forwards, front knee on top of front ankle. Right hand stays onto the floor. Inhale, left arm to the sky. Option to drop the back knee. Chest rotates with that gaze. Everything opening up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale. And then let that hand come down to the floor. Drop the back knee and untuck the back toes as we shift into the half split. So option to use your blocks. Pelvis comes roughly on top of the back knee. Toes pull up to the sky, and don't be afraid to shuffle the foot into a more comfortable position if where it's landed isn't quite working for you. There's no shame in a shuffle. Toes pull up towards the shin, heel presses down into the floor, and you should really feel the difference between not pressing the heel down and pressing the heel down. And it's a much more effective way to stretch your hamstring if you can encourage and persuade your body to do that. Lengthening your chest forwards, think of a nice flat straight back. And allowing your belly to come closer towards your thigh, remembering the leg does not need to be straight. Last one, breathing in and breathing out. Good. Rock back forwards to the top of the mat, both hands down, foot steps back, hips go high into your downward facing dog. From here, use your inhale, rock the body forwards into plank. So your shoulders have come on top of your wrist. If you need to step the feet back a little, then do. Inhale as you hold. Exhale, drop the knees, keep that tailbone tucked under, lean a little forwards, and slowly allow yourself to descend down onto the mat. Using the inhale, the chest floats, the gaze goes forwards, the hands float, press the pelvis down. Exhale, hands to press into the floor, to roll your body weight back, to return to down dog, lengthening out the armpits. 2 breaths. Exhale, 1. Last 1. Exhale, 2. Great. This time, left leg. Inhale, lifting to the sky, 3-legged dog. On the exhale, this time we're going to step the foot between the hands and right in the center of the mat. Imagine there's a line down the middle of your mat. Maybe there is one. Step on it. Back heel drops down, so your toes now point out to the right, and then windmill your arms up and wide as you come into warrior 2. So the front knee stays lunging on top of the front ankle, the palms face the floor, and the gaze goes to the front fingertips. Drive the front knee wide out towards the little toe edge of your mat. Press down to the little toe edges to keep that opening through the hips. Shoulder blades draw towards each other, and the tailbone stays lightly tucked. Breathe in as you hold. And breathe out. And then from here, keep your arms reaching, straighten out your front leg, squeeze hold of the quad, the muscle on the front of the left leg. Think of surfing your left fingertips forward. You're staying on this one line in the center of your mat. Your front fingertips then come down to rest towards your shin, your thigh, anywhere on your leg, and the right arm is going to the sky and the gaze follows. Think of your left sort of bum, the left side of your pelvis, pull it underneath the body, so squish yourself onto that tightrope and open your chest to the sky, roll that right shoulder back. Holding here, keep squeezing those muscles of the leg, keep everything very active. And then as you exhale, keep the right arm in the sky, bend your front knee, let your forearm rest onto the thigh, and the gaze goes back to the sky once you've figured out what that leg is doing. Keep driving the knee wide. You can even use your forearm on this one to encourage it towards the left side of your mat. Squeeze through your glutes. Extended side angle, breathing in and breathing out. Good. Use the inhale to come all the way up to stand, 2 straight legs, and then turn your front foot so the toes are now matching the back foot. So both toes point to the right side of the mat. Angle the toes ever so slightly inwards, so you're a little bit more pigeon-toed. Hands to come to your waist. Engage those quads, just as we did a moment ago. Inhale, lift your chest, narrow your shoulder blades. Exhale, think of sending your chest forwards. Find that tabletop shape, and then maybe you can go further. To keep allowing yourself to fold and your fingertips to find the floor, maybe they find a block instead if that's a little bit too far. If all of that is too much, keep a soft bend in your knees to give yourself somewhere to rest down onto. The whole time we're going to try and keep length in the back so the chest pulls forwards as you breathe in. And you allow yourself to keep deepening and folding as you breathe out. Pressing down into that little toe edge of the foot, allowing the weight to be a little forwards towards the toes, and keep pushing your hip bones to the sky. Hold here for your last breath in. And then on the exhale, walk your hands towards your left foot. But everyone's going to be different here. You might be able to go a little way. You might be able to go so far that you can actually hold your leg. Doesn't matter how far you go, just allow your weight to shift towards the left. If you have hold of the leg, you can give yourself a little pull to fold against it, but keep pushing your right sit bone back. There's not a twist here. It's just a fold of the body to one side towards your left. Holding it, breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Keep going in that same left direction. So turn all your toes back to face the front of the mat, and then step the left foot back to meet the right and into down dog. Great, guys. We're going to repeat that little sequence on the second side. So right leg, inhale, lift it tall, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that leg forwards, place it right in between the hands, right in the center of the mat, find your tightrope. Drop the back heel down, toes turn outwards, and then windmill those arms up and over. Keep that front knee lunging on top of the front ankle and the arms to spread wide. Think of your thighs rolling away from one another, the weight pouring towards the little toe edges of the feet, and the shoulder blades drawing towards each other as your chest stays broad. Take a nice deep breath in. This is our warrior two. And then extend your front leg, straighten it out, squeeze the quad, lift the kneecap up towards the hip. Surf those right fingertips forwards. Think of your left sit bone pushing out backwards. Stay on your tightrope and those fingertips to come down to your leg, your shin, maybe your block. If you're super flexible, maybe the floor. Turning the chest and the gaze to the sky. Pull that right side of your hip underneath, roll the left side of the hip on top, and roll the left shoulder back. Triangle pose. Try to find equal amount of length in both sides of your torso. The top left side is the easier one. Try and find length in your right side body. Inhale. And then from here, maybe just look towards your legs so you can see what you're doing. You're going to bend into your front knee, knee on top of ankle, forearm to rest onto that thigh, and then the gaze can go back to the sky. Keep lunging forwards, drive the front knee wide, and keep yourself on that tightrope. Breathe in and breathe out. Great, rise your way all the way up to stand, two straight legs, and then again the front foot turns, toes to point towards the left, so now both toes pointing up towards the other side of the mat. Angle them slightly inwards. This time we're going to take our hands behind us. Interlace them into a fist, palms to stay as close together as you can. With the inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pull the fist towards the floor as the chest lifts to the sky. Squeeze those quad muscles, and as you exhale, again, think a long tabletop spine. Keep that tabletop sensation and lift your fist away from your body. Let your chin fall a little towards your chest, and don't be expecting to fold quite so far when your arms are in this position. And again, keeping a soft bend in your knees is available for you if this feels too intense. Strong through the shoulders to pull the arms away from the body. Lift those sit bones tall to lengthen the back of the legs. Holding here, breathe in. And then breathe out, release your arms, let your fingertips come to the mat. From here, we're walking towards the right leg, and again, just go as far as you want to, as you can feel. Obviously, it's going to get your right hamstring and right inner thigh more. So it could just be a little walk. Maybe you can go so far as to hold the leg and you can pull yourself against it. Everyone's different. Left sit bone pushes a little back. Try to take out any twist that's trying to creep its way in. Squeeze those kneecaps up towards the hips. Lovely, last breath in. And then breathing out. Turn, keep turning in this direction. All toes point towards the top of the mat. And then step yourself back into down dog. We'll take 2 breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Good, and then we're going to do a little transition to seated. So bring your left leg forwards and step towards the right side of the mat. The right leg then steps forward to the left side, so your shins are crossed, and then you can sit down behind your feet, hopefully into crossed legs. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. Don't worry if it didn't. So make sure you've got some space in front of you. We're going to send our left leg out straight, toes to the sky, flex through the foot. Cross your right leg over the top, ground the whole sole of the foot, make sure your right sit bone stays down as well. Right hand is going to go behind you as you start to twist to look over your right shoulder. You can either just hold the leg here as you look over, or perhaps you can lengthen that left side body and hook the elbow around the thigh and think of pushing your knee towards the left side of the mat, making sure this right sit bone stays down. If you have more open hips, you can curl your extended leg underneath instead, but that's going to make it harder to ground the sit bone. So if you do that and your bum is floating, then maybe it's for another day. Grow a little taller as you breathe in. And then unravel and look back to the top of the mat. Breathing out. Send this leg back onto its own side. The sole of the foot faces the inner thigh. The knee falls away from you, and keep this leg nice and active, toes towards you. Use a breath in, pull your body to the sky, lengthen through your lower belly, and then exhale, send that length forwards. Maybe your hands find your toes, but don't worry if they don't. You can use a strap if you have one, or something that doubles as a strap, or just hold your calf or other part of your leg. If you don't want to do that, just leave your hands down. Either way, I hope you can feel this in your left hamstring. We're also lengthening through our lower back, and particularly a little bit more on the right side, so you might feel it there. The leg, again, as always, legs never have to be straight for any pose. You can keep a soft bend if straight is feeling a little bit too much. Use the inhale to think of finding a more tabletop shape with that spine. Chest lifts. And your exhale to fold over. Good. Sit yourself up nice and tall. From here, the right hand is going to place onto the mat behind you. The legs aren't going to change, but you're going to think of reaching through those left toes towards the mat. Press down through the knee, reach those toes, lift your bum, and send your left arm alongside your ear, and maybe your gaze down towards your right hand. You should feel a big old stretch in that top left side of the body. Strengthen the supporting limbs. Holding this here, rock star pose, inhale. And the exhale. So sit yourself back down right where you came from. So for this next one, I want you to shift your body weight across towards the left, so your right sit bone lifts. We're going to bend this, it's a quad stretch and it might not be suitable for everybody, but the top of the foot wants to face the floor, so the sole of the foot faces up. Importantly, it's not on its side. We don't want that. We want the sole of the foot facing the sky. Now, if that's not really working for your body, grab yourself a cushion or some sort of yoga block and put that under your bum. It should make it more accessible to find this shape. And same applies, that we want both sit bones on the floor, and if you struggle with that, the cushion will help you. You can stay here. If you've got more to give, you can bring your hands and then your elbows to the floor, and making sure you're rooting your knee down towards the floor and tucking your tailbone. So really tuck your tailbone to flatten out the front of the body. If this is not working for your body and you're going, no, I want you just to come to soles of the feet together, knees wide, and pause here for a moment, and we'll come to meet you in that shape in a minute, because for some people this just doesn't work for their knees. It's not nice. But give yourself a moment with props and things to help to see if you can find your way into it. If you laid down, bring yourself all the way back up and then swing your leg out in front of you. We're going to do all of those shapes on the other side. So if you use the cushion, leave it to one side. Left foot, cross it over to the other side of the leg. Sit yourself nice and tall. Left hand goes behind you as you twist. Option just to give the leg a little hug towards the body, or you can go deeper by hooking the elbow around the thigh as you look over the left shoulder. Use the left hand behind you to keep your body weight moving a little further forwards, and grow taller with each inhale, and your exhales are there for your twist. You can then come back to the center, take the left leg back onto its own side of the body, knee flops out, sole of the foot to the inner of the thigh, flex the right toes back towards you. Breathing in, find height. Breathing in, keep that length as you go forwards, and try not to be too concerned with how close to your leg you're getting. Be more concerned with how straight you can keep your spine whilst hinging your body weight forwards. Using straps, props, other things is a great idea until your hamstrings are a little longer. Push the back of the thigh down if you're working with a straight leg. Push the heel away from you. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one. And then releasing, sitting tall. This time it's the left hand that goes behind you. It's that funky lifted hip shape. Think of reaching through your right toes, pull your bum off of the mat, turn your chest to the sky and send your right arm alongside your ear. Really, your gaze can go wherever it's comfortable. That might be the mat, that might be the sky. Let your neck feel comfortable. Breathe into that top right side of the body, let it grow longer. And then exhale. Sit your bum back down as you turn back to face the front of the mat. So this left leg is our complicated leg this time. So lean towards the right side of your mat, left sit bone lifts. Tuck the leg beside you. You might want to just roll your calf muscle out the way. That can sometimes make it easier for your leg to find this shape. And again, make sure the sole of the foot is facing upwards. If this shape doesn't work for you, take the diamond legs. You can also use a cushion to go underneath your sit bones to keep them more level. You can stay here, or your hands can come behind you, steadily dropping down to the elbows, but making sure as you come down, we're focusing on a tucked tailbone, a strong core, and if your knee doesn't like it, then come out of it. No yoga pose is worth anything that feels uncomfortable. But know the difference between uncomfortable and pain and something that's a stretch that your body needs. You shouldn't feel any sharp, nagging pains. It should feel like a stretch. So bring yourself back up onto the hands if you went down. Swing that foot back in front of you. Give your cushion back to your dog. And then soles of the feet to face one another. Finding that diamond-shaped legs. Maybe you're already there. Let your hands rest either onto your feet, your shins, your mat. And just allow your body to softly roll forwards. So chin towards your chest. Think of a turtle shell. So we're allowing the spine to round here, lengthening out the back body. Take a deep breath down into the belly and see if you can feel your lower back stretch a little more as you do that. And breathing out to stay heavy with the fold forwards. Great. Unround and sit yourself tall and just make sure you have some space on the mat behind you as you shuffle forwards a little. Arms are going to come alongside the legs. Feet hip distance apart. Keep your tailbone tucked, your chin to your chest. You're going to think of a rounded spine, strong core as you control your way all the way down onto the mat. Once your shoulders and head find the floor, let your knees have a little squeeze in towards your body. Make yourself a small little ball. And then allow your knees to fall over to the right side. Hand can pin them down if you wish. And the left arm either alongside you onto the mat or out alongside your shoulder, palm faces the sky. A nice twist to neutralize everything. Winding down. Breathe in. And breathe out. You can then roll back to the center, straight over the other side. Knees go left, arm goes right, palm to the sky, and there's the option to take the gaze to the palm so you can twist a little through your neck as well. And then all the way back to center, bringing your feet onto the mat, your arms alongside you, stepping your legs out one at a time, just allowing ourselves a last few couple of moments of complete rest for the body. Let your eyes close. Keep your attention, your focus on your breath, but just gently watching it come in and out. Feeling it slow down, feeling it shallow, And feeling the whole body become more relaxed. And then with a deep breath in, reach the arms overhead as you reach through your toes for a full body lengthen. And then knees in towards your chest to give yourself a little hug. Gently allow yourself to roll up into a comfortable seated position, nice and tall through your back. With your final inhale, the arms circle wide into the sky. And with the final exhale, hands down to your belly and your chin down to your chest. Good job, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I feel like my mat has migrated across the rug through the duration of that class, so maybe I'm bigger than I was at the start. Hopefully you enjoyed that class and understand what I mean now by sort of foundational poses. They are quite familiar in most yoga classes, so hopefully you learned something, whether that be alignment or pose names or something. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you want to leave me any little thoughts about how you found the class, or any recommendations or requests of things that you'd like to see in these classes. And thank you to those who are supporting me with your donations for this class. I am forever thankful for you helping me through these crazy, crazy times. The link to my PayPal is in the description below the video if you feel able to. Hopefully you can join me again for another class soon. Thursdays is always my more beginner-friendly flows. Mondays and Sundays are a little more energetic with some sort of crazy transitions thrown in. So enjoy your evening, enjoy the rest of your week, and hope to see you online again soon.